Brothers and sisters of the sacred junk, welcome back to the burning and the friendship. It is me, your pal, friendo number 2, the conscientious vampire and the movie guy. And as you can see, I've been partaking in the Barnes and Nobles madness that is called the Criterion 50% off sale that even Amazon is copycatting. And I got a movie from them too, because it was a few dollars cheaper. But before we could explore the treasures, we need the blessing of the spooky shelf friends, because they live right below the Criterion shelf. So we start things off with our pal again, Q. He's a misunderstood dude. He's always fighting with my pal, Ultraman. I try to intervene, but they have to resolve their own beef. And as you can see, he has many eyes and one big eyeball, and all he does is watch Criterion movies. And of course, we have Drac, Mr. Dracula. I've known him for a long time, and I'm a little concerned, because look at his eyes. I think his thyroid problem is starting to act up. Hey, you're talking about my private health information without my consent. Oh, my bad. I am so sorry, Drac. But you know what? Scram, because it is Criterion time. And we are going to start off with the first movie that I got on the Amazon for a $17.99. That's a $2 cheaper, Barnes and Nobles. But anyway, it is 3:10 to Yuma from a 1957, directed by Delmar Daves, who did quite a few westerns, like a Jubal, which is also on Criterion. And we have our dudes, Glenn Ford and Van Heflin, who are no strangers to the western genre. And I have to mention the beautiful Felicia Farr. She is absolutely gorgeous in this. But anyway, this is considered a classic in the western canon. But I will need to confess, when I first saw this, I thought it was boring. But then again, I was 15 years old and my papa made me watch it. And I just wasn't into old westerns at the time. I wanted to play Zelda, man.
Hey, excuse me, princess.
But when I hit my 40s, oh boy, old-timey westerns started to draw me in. So we will see if I like it this time around. But to just my luck, Criterion announces the 4K after I ordered it. Hopefully I still hate it, so I don't feel the FOMO. And then now we are hitting the Barnes and Noble stack, starring with Irma Vep, from 1996, directed by Olivier Assayas. So I have not seen this movie since 1996, and the main reason I saw this was because Sonic Youth was in the soundtrack, and back in the 90s, if your favorite band was on the soundtrack, you watched the movie. And guess what? The movie was cool. You have Hong Kong legend Maggie Chung from In the Mood for Love, Heroic Trio, and The Seventh Curse. Are you crazy, man? Of course you're going to see it. And she's in a movie about making a French movie, so it's a meta-comedy with a lot of Easter eggs for French New Wave cinemaphiles. I mean, you have Jean-Pierre Léaud in this, the little boy from 400 Blows. I highly recommend. And the next we have Failsafe from a 1964, directed by Sidney Lumet, with Henry Fonda and Walter Matthau, in a tense Cold War thriller about nuclear annihilation and all that stuff. It's perfect for the holiday season. And as the story goes, this came out around the same time as Kubrick's Doctor Strangelove and was somewhat overshadowed. And to be honest, I didn't hear about this movie till Criterion released the Blu-ray. But I've been wanting to see this and have almost grabbed it in previous sales, and this time the FOMO got me as I checked Amazon first to see if they had a nicer price, and they were out of stock. So then I went to my usual Barnes and Nobles, and they didn't have it. So I freaked out, man, and went straight to their website to find the location. And luckily, the Criterion gods blessed me. I had to drive pretty far, but the FOMO curse was removed. So I'm happy I found it. Now, hopefully I will like it, but I don't think I will be disappointed. I'm sure I'm just going to get freaked out, man, since we are currently kinda going through some Cold War fears of our own. And the next one I grabbed was The Sisters from a 1973, directed by Brian De Palma. And you have a Margot Kidder and a Margot Kidder playing sisters, I guess, because you know what? I've never seen this movie. I've seen almost all of De Palma's filmography, but just never got around to this one, which is crazy, as it sounds like something I would absolutely love. A dark comedy, psychological thriller that plays like a grindhouse Hitchcock mashup. Sign me up. Anyways, I'm glad to finally check this off my Brian De Palma watch list. And now we're tapping into the 4Ks, starting with The Trial from a 1962, directed by the legend Orson Welles, and starting Anthony Perkins, the psycho himself, in this adaptation of the Kafka novel of the same name. And this is another movie I have not seen, but I read the book when I was in college and seen enough clips of this surreal nightmare that I knew I had to grab some pretty trippy scenes in this if you're into that. Also, side note, the reason I even read the book back in the day is due to a Scottish post-punk band called Joseph K, who lifted the name from the central character in all this, back when music would dictate my reading list. A Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me from a 1992, directed by one of my favorite directors, David Lynch, who passed away this year. And oh boy, have I bought this movie several times in a many formats, and it is still a double dip for me, as you can see. I have the big ass collection that has everything, including the movie, but I absolutely love Twin Peaks and needed the Criterion 4K treatment. And basically, this serves as a prequel with a sequel prologue for the 90s TV series, and I think it is best to watch the series first, but I have friends that were drawn into the TV show due to the movie. I mean, I love the movie and I would buy it a million more times if I could, and I think it works as a movie without the series. But why would you not watch the series? That is crazy talk, man. I also need to mention the soundtrack, which is super French Kiss by Angelo Badalamenti and others. It's a dark, a spooky, romantic affair. I mean, it is probably one of my favorite of the David Lynch soundtracks. This is Spinal Tap 1984, directed by Rob Reiner, with a Christopher Guest, a Michael McKean, and Harry Shearer as the Spinal Tap. And as you could see, it is an upgrade for me, because I've owned this in so many formats. I even got this soundtrack, because I love it so hard. But this is probably one of the most influential of the mockumentary comedies, and I'll tell you this, it is a riot. And if you like a classic rock, a heavy metal, and or are a musician, this is going to hit you at a higher frequency. Eyes Without a Face, 1960, directed by Georges Franju. And for me, this is a Criterion cult classic and a most definite upgrade for me. So glad I waited for the 4K, as I almost grabbed the Blu-ray in the last sale before they announced this. And let me tell you, my friends, this is such a beautifully filmed, disturbing little masterpiece. Really one of the prototypes of what we now call a body horror, you know, like we're way past the old Frankenstein fantasy stuff where we leave the fairy tale land and step into something more clinical, psychological, with horrific consequences. Modern flesh horror begins here. And next we have Mr. Body Horror himself, David Cronenberg, with A History of Violence from 2005, which ironically, this one is not quite the body horror movie, or is it? And of course, this is an upgrade, as I really love this era of Cronenberg with a Viggo Mortensen, you know, like Eastern Promises. But back to the body horror. In this movie, Cronenberg wanted to show the human body in relation to violence, which he does so explicitly. So really, this is a body horror film disguised as an ultra-violent mob movie, and like that's pretty heavy, man. And you know, I have to mention this is based on the excellent graphic novel by 2000 AD alumni John Wagner, who co-created Judge Dredd and also co-wrote some of my favorite Batman comics. And now, the grand finale, the one Criterion release I've been waiting for since they announced it. Altered States from a 1980, directed by Ken Russell and starring William Hurt. And yes, this is another upgrade for me from the original Warner Brothers Digipack DVD. And, basically, this movie is a sci fi psychological horror. It's about a psychophysiologist trying to find the memories hidden in our DNA by tripping far out there, man, on hallucinogenic drugs and hanging out in a sensory deprivation tank in the nude. So, definitely not for children, but a most definite cult classic for adults. And that is all I have. What did you grab on this Criterion season? And also, if the spirit of David Lynch touched you, bless that like button and tap subscribe to seal your place among the initiated.